Hey my crafty creatures, so in this video I wanted to show you guys everything that I made in 2025. Now 2025 was my year of getting back into sewing, and because I had changed in weight, most of the stuff I already had did not fit me. So I was making a lot of my basics, making sure that I had shirts, pants, shorts, stuff like that for the year. And I wanted to show you everything I made. Now, looking back on it, I didn't think I made that much, but gathering everything together, I actually realized that I made quite a bit of things. And I want to show you all those things that I made. And hopefully you can find some stuff that you like, or just get inspired to make some more stuff for yourself. So I want to get started with the t-shirts that I made, or the tops. I did make quite a few of them because I needed quite a few of them. Some of them are going to be patterns that I've used, and whenever I get a pattern, I'll kind of show it up to you guys. And even if I have videos for it, I'll point you to those videos. And then I have some that I kind of just created myself, and I want to show you all of that. And I hope you guys enjoy this video. All right, so the next thing I have are two tops that are basically the same thing. They're just different versions of it. I have this top here, which was a mock-up that I did. It was supposed to be a wearable mock-up. And when I put it on, everything kind of fit nicely, but it was a little bit looser than I would want it to be. So then I created this version of it, which ended up coming up a lot nicer. But the only issue I had was with this backside. It came up, or the curve on here wasn't exactly how I would want it to be. And I do want to go back in there and kind of change that up a little bit. But I felt like these came out really nicely. They're really cute on. And I really enjoyed the whole process of like creating a design from scratch. And this was like a design that was kind of inspired by Blogilates and a top that they have. I can't really remember exactly what the top was, but if I can find it, I'll just post it up here so you guys can see. So the next thing I have here is this top here. And this was actually a mock-up for my Cora costume, and I had some extra fabrics and I wanted to try to get rid of them. I put them together because they had been sitting in my stash for years, and I wanted to kind of get an idea of how this would actually end up looking. And I have a video of me kind of doing this process, and I love the way this top actually came out. And it is a bodysuit, so that it fits really nicely. The only thing I kind of wish I would have done, for some reason I decided not to like make sure that this snap area actually lined up the way it was supposed to. And that ended up causing some issues, both with this and the final product for the Cora costume. But otherwise, it's really cute. It fits really comfortably, and I like the way it looks. Oh yeah, there was another thing that was wrong with this. The neck hole, I did not leave enough space. Like, I can just barely get my head through this without like popping seams. So that was one thing that I did kind of mess up. I probably should have made that hole just like ever so slightly bigger. That way it's a lot easier for me to wear it. Okay, so the next thing I have, Honestly, I've played around with this pattern so many times. I've done so many versions of this that it's there's not really much to say about it. I like this pattern, and I made this knit, well, actually it's a power mesh top. And with this, I did do like a contrasting sleeve and neckline. I found that to be like the easiest way to do this because of the fact that it's a mesh. And I like the skull fabric. I ended up getting this fabric from Joann, and it was part of their clearance. I really like the way this came out. It's so comfortable. It's good for the fall and like hotter months. You can just kind of pair it with like either a tank top or, you know, some other things on top of it. And I like that it's a really good layering piece. I can't really say much else about the pattern. I've made it so many times in like so many different fabrics. This was just another one that I wanted to do. So the next piece I have is something I created, just kind of a mashup of things that I saw on Pinterest. Now, I was really into the corsets last year, so I did want to make me a couple of them. And this was a design that I kind of came up with. It has the zipper in the front, which makes it easy to put on. And then I added some lacing here that makes it a little more adjustable so that it can fit me even if I kind of like gain a little weight or lose some. But I really like the way this came out, and then I chose this fabric because I specifically wanted to wear this to Dragon Con and match my husband. I made him a shirt out of this exact same fabric, and I just really liked the way all the details came out, and I really thoroughly enjoyed wearing this while I was at con. All right, so the next thing I have was another self-drafted pattern, and this came out like so well. Like, I got inspired by a video that I had saw from somebody on social media, and she had a top that was very similar to this, and I just wanted to kind of create my own design. So this one right here is the mock-up that I did just to kind of make sure everything kind of fit correctly. And when I made this, I would say this area from from the armpit to armpit across the chest was a little bit too tight. So then I ended up making this version of it. And I really liked having that kind of contrast fabric so that when it flops open a little bit, you have that little extra detail. And this ended up being really comfortable. I wore this quite a few times during the summer months. This one is a little bit warmer, so I would have to kind of be very mindful of the days that I did put this one on. But I really like the way both of them came out. And it's a pattern that I will definitely make some more stuff out of because I do have some fabrics in my stash that could really use this design. All right, so the next one I have is part of a set that I made, and I'll show you the bottoms of that later, but I created this top here. Now this is based off of a really quick design that I had did one morning, and I wanted to recreate it in another fabric. The fabric I chose for this was not really the best, but I do like the way this top came out. It's really comfortable. It's something that I typically just kind of like lounge around in, but it is nice enough that I can just wear it out if I feel like it. But one of the things that I really like about this is the fact that it doesn't have like a finished edge. I just used my serger to kind of finish off the edges. You don't necessarily have to do that with it because it's a knit fabric. It won't fray regardless, but I just like that detail so that I did that on all the free edges on here, and I really want to make like another top. I have some fabric that I will show you guys in my next video, and this is like what I want to do with it. All right, so the next one I have is this top here, and it's kind of like a circle top. And this was just something that I had an idea for, and I wanted to test it out and see if it would actually come out well. Now, I did make a mock-up of this, and the mock-up is way too small, so I don't have that anymore. And honestly, this one's kind of small too, but it has more stretch than the mock-up did, and I really like the way it came out. Now, I did not have a whole lot of this fabric left, so it's not as long as I would have wanted it to be, but it's a really cute and like flirty top, and I really like the way this came out. The fabric is like super soft and flowy, so you can actually get a lot of kind of like flare out when you do like a spin or something. So that's, always kind of fun to kind of play around with. But I really like the way this came out, and I probably will make at least one more version of this, trying to make it a little bit bigger so that it fits more comfortably for me. All right, so the next few tops that I have are basically the exact same pattern. It's just slightly different versions of them. Now, these are the cropped versions that I did, and I have it in like this yellow color that I ended up getting from one of my local fabric stores. This is, I want to say, Either it was from that same fabric store or it was from Joann. But I really like this version. This has a lot more stretch. So when you put it on, it's a lot more slinky and loose fitting. And then I have this version, which was fabric from Joann. I did a video on this one, and I did have an issue with it being a little bit too tight, which is probably why I haven't really worn this one much. But this is made out of like a suede type fabric, which I thought was like a really cool look. Now I did kind of play around with the pattern for this, and it didn't quite turn out the way I wanted it to, but it's still a really cute top and something that I will continue to wear once it gets warmer. All right, so the next three tops I have are basically the same pattern as the last ones that I showed you. They're just the longer version of it with the short sleeves. So I did that in this fabric here, which I got from Joann. Actually, I think all of these fabrics came from Joann. So this one was one of their Halloween fabrics, as well as this one right here, which has like this kind of holographic moon and star design on it. And I did do a video for this, if I remember correctly, and both of these came out perfectly. I wear them all the time. And then I have this kind of more silky type fabric. I don't remember exactly what the fabric is, but it is nice and smooth, and it's kind of more of that athletic feel. And honestly, this is like one of my favorite patterns. I make it over and over and over and over again. You'll probably see this year, you'll see a lot more of the winter ones, so they'll have long sleeve, but basically this is a good basic top for just about any season. And then they have them in different lengths and then different sleeve types. All right, so I think that is all of the tops that I made last year. So now we can start moving on to the bottoms. So the next item I have is this skirt here. And this skirt was a self-drafted pattern that I created in the beginning of the year. And I did it in a like flannel type fabric. That one, it came out good, but it was still a little bit big. So I knew there was some adjustments that I would need to make on this. But the way the skirt came out was really nice. I liked that it had these like side pockets that you can just slide your phone into, and it actually holds it pretty well. This ended up being really comfortable. The only issue I have with this skirt is the fabric. It wrinkles so easily. This is like one of those things where like you have to iron it every time you wear it. And even then it still wrinkles up. Because like even here I steamed it and you can still kind of see the wrinkles on the back. But the way the skirt fits is so comfortable. I think the only thing I would need to do is like on the waist part, I need to take it in just a little bit. That way it just sits a little higher on. But I like the way this came out. If I remember correctly, I do have a video. This actually goes along with, this goes along with this top. I made these two together, and this ended up being like a little birthday outfit that I wore. And I really had fun kind of like playing around with these two types of pieces. All right, so the next thing I made was this skirt here, and this skirt has just like a little bit of a slit, and I honestly just made this out of some leftover fabric. I had like, I want to say either a yard or just under a yard, maybe a little bit more than a yard, but it was right around a yard. And this was the fabric that I used for that kind of Quora mock-up. And I just used like a little bit of it just to give a contrasting color. And I know I didn't want to make like a full like shirt or something like that out of this. And I wanted to try to get rid of some of my fabric. So I just made a simple like square skirt and then just put a slit in there and then put an elastic band in there for the top. This was a really quick make. Like I think I did this in like an hour. And it was really simple. It's really soft and really flowy, and it's really good for the summer months. It's just something quick that you can throw on, and I really like the way it came out. This is one of those other fabrics that wrinkles really easy. It's very similar to that skirt I showed you earlier. But otherwise, it's really comfortable and I really like it. I'm definitely going to keep this for next year and wear it quite often when it's like hot and just want to throw something on really quickly. But it goes so perfectly with the top that I made. Yeah, so this top right here and this skirt just go perfectly together. I think I ended up wearing that to my niece's graduation and I enjoyed it. So these were two pieces that I was really proud of. Okay, so this is the next thing I have, and this was a pair of shorts. Now I realized that I did not have any shorts that I could wear last summer. So I had to try to get as many as possible, and this was one of the pairs that I made. Now this I had maybe about a yard of just like some linen fabric that I had picked up years ago when I was working at Joann. And I ended up finally making the shorts. The thing that I wish I would have done was not used, I think it was like an upholstery fabric or like utility thread to make some of the seams, which caused some issues with the design and the look of it. But otherwise, it was really nice. I really enjoyed this like little button that I ended up getting off of that. But yeah, these are really comfortable. These do wrinkle a lot, but with it being like a linen blend, you kind of expect that. But these are really comfortable and I liked wearing them during the summer months. They really kept me more comfortable. All right, so the next thing I have is another skirt. This is very similar to the last one, except for I did not use or add a split in there and I did not finish the hem on it. So this is just a simple square that I had this fabric and I knew I wasn't really going to use it for much of anything else. And I've had it for such a long time. I don't even remember where I got it from. But I just wanted a quick little skirt and I wish I would have left a little more space because when I am walking in it, it does kind of hit its kind of max like stride. And I wish I would have left a little more fabric on there. The thing is I was trying to line this back seam up and it just like there was like a difference in the fabric that I just really wanted to line up and it just didn't line up the way I wanted it to. But as far as getting enough width in there, but it is a really comfortable skirt. It's really lightweight. It's like almost like having nothing on. It's really breezy. The fabric is really soft and flowy. So I really like this. This is just one of those kind of things that like if I'm staying at home, I'm probably going to have this on. All right, so the next thing I have is that initial skirt that I made. This one, it has the little side pockets on there and I actually fully lined this thing, which was kind of like my first time doing that with a skirt. And it was very interesting to do that because I had to kind of modify it a little bit just so that it would line up correctly. And then I ended up top or hand stitching the very top of this. And it was an interesting process. I really liked the way this came out. And unfortunately, I just don't like this version of the skirt, but it holds up really well compared to the other fabric that I used. I just personally, for some reason, just didn't really wear this, but I do like the skirt itself. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do with that information, but I did like the process of like figuring the skirt out because this was like an idea I had in my head and then I just kind of put it all together to kind of see if I could come up with something good. And it did come out good. It's just because of the waist, it sits really weirdly. So I really only can wear it if I have a big chunky sweater. So that kind of messed it up. And then I need like tights or something to wear with it. And I don't currently have that. All right. So the next thing I have, I've made quite a few of these. And it's these pair of shorts. And they have a bit of a flare. And I can't remember if I added the pockets in there or if the pattern had pockets. I'm pretty sure they didn't, and I added them in there. But I made 3 pair of these, and they have this like cute little flare on them. And with the pockets. They fit really nicely. The pattern is actually for a woven fabric, but I used a knit because it would be really easy to transfer over into a knit fabric. The only thing I probably have to do is just make sure that I tighten up the waistband so that it doesn't just slide off of me when I wear it. But I have 3 different fabrics. This was the first version I did, and this is what I have a video on. This fabric was not the best for the way I constructed it, but I ended up changing it for these. So with the waistband, I initially did it in 2 pieces, and that ended up just getting stretched out and then rippling a lot. So what I did is just made that waistband piece just one solid piece. That way you just kind of fold it in half and then sew it and then put the elastic inside. So that ended up coming out better. And then I was just honestly getting rid of some fabrics that I had. So I have this fabric that I made some, what did I make out of it? I made some leggings out of it a while back, and I no longer have those leggings. They no longer fit me, but I had some leftover fabric from that. So I wanted to make the shorts out of it because it was just enough to do that. These came out really well. I honestly, every time I washed these, I was putting them back on. So I definitely would want to make some more of these. This is also what I talked about in one of my other videos where I wanted to make a longer version of. I wanted to make a long like pant version of these shorts. And then the last one I have is this. Now, one thing I did kind of get a little frustrated with was the placement of the pockets. Because of the way the pattern is, that side seam ends up like way back here. And I think with that inseam pocket, it just doesn't fit the way I want it to. I feel like I keep on having to try to find the pockets. And I think that will be something I will change in the pattern and just give it like a little cut. That way it's easier for me to find the pocket when I'm wearing it. But otherwise, these are really comfortable. The different fabrics that I used actually like lend like different like looks. So this one's a little more structured than the other 2. And like with this one here, it's like really kind of like pajama. Like I really just want to lounge around in this one. And then this one here is a little more structured, but still kind of flowy. I think it's like really fun. And then this one's a little more structured, and all of them are still comfy. The fabrics are really soft. So the next thing I have are these pair of shorts. And these shorts were a pattern that I think it was a simplicity pattern, if I'll put it up here. But these came out really good as far as the construction goes. Like the zipper was perfect. Like that was the best zipper I've done. But the issue was that I went maybe a size or 2 too large. So they are a bit baggy. I do have to wear these with a belt, and they fit kind of loosely, which wasn't what I was intending, but still comfortable enough for me to wear. So I think if I make these again, I will make sure that I get the right size. But everything came out nicely, and I like the fabric. It's something that I had for a while, and I only had like, I want to say just under a yard or something like that. It was pretty sure it was a remnant from Joann. And when I was making it, when I made the pockets, I just used the wrong type of fabric. The fabric I used was a much thicker, more sturdier fabric. It might have been like a home decor or like a denim fabric. And this is more of a twill fabric. So it's a little bit thicker than I would want it to be, but it is still really comfortable. All right, so the next thing I have are these pair of pants. Now, I ended up making so many different pairs of these pants, and I apparently have not seemed to brought them in here, but I will go and grab them. But this was the very first version of these that I did as far as like a full length pant. And I ended up doing the wrong size on these. I should have just stuck with the smaller size. I was thinking that I had gained more weight than I did or needed to with the knit fabric. And this ended up being a little bit bigger than I wanted to. but these are perfect for like the colder days. The fabric I use, I've had for a while, but it is the way it's made, it's a little bit too thick for the pattern that I used it for. And it makes me less likely to want to wear this like out and about, but I do find it perfect for like a really cold day at home. All right, so the next thing I have are these pair of pants, and that's basically the same as the last ones that I showed you. Ugh. So that's basically the same as the last ones I showed you. This I did basically right after I made those gray ones. I did that, and then I made this pair, which is basically the same thing. It's just a different size. And I made one more, this pair. And I made one more, which was this pair. And I made a video on me making these pants specifically after I had tested them out with the gray one. And they came out so well. I thoroughly enjoyed making these, and I ended up making some more. And I have, I want to say I have like 5 more versions of them. With this one, I basically did the exact same design. The only difference I made was when the leg kind of tapers down to a smaller, I instead made it more wide leg. So I have this version of it as well as this yellow version to match along with the shirt that I made. And these have such a like pajama feel to them that they're so comfortable just to wear around the house and look really cute in them. And then I have another version in this red, black, and white striped version, which with these, as soon as they're washed, I am putting them on. I am wearing them. These are some of the most comfortable pants that I have made. And they're based off of a pattern that I have modified from the original versions. Now that the original version I do use for my Korra cosplay, and I have gone in and made a few modifications even to that. Because the first time I made it, I just made it as is. And then when I remade them, I made sure I added pockets, which I have transferred over into these as well. Now, as it went on, I was like, oh, I want slightly different versions of them. So I made the wide leg ones. And then I've made it more high-waisted. So these have become the pattern that I use the most. I probably will be making even more of these and maybe even making shorts versions of these. So I will say that this is my favorite pattern as far as like the one I will continue to make things out of. And hopefully soon I'll actually start making some using the fabric that I have designed. Now that is like a whole nother thing, but I'm excited about these. I've made so many of these that it's just not even funny. I like these. And one last thing that I have made before the end of the year. Oh wait, actually no, there's still a couple more things. Oh gosh, I made so much this year. So the next thing I have is this long sleeve tank. Now the fabric I got from Joann, this was right after like the Halloween fabric haul that I did. And I went back and got this fabric along with some of the other Halloween fabric you saw earlier. And I just made a long sleeve version of this. And this is the same pattern as those short sleeve tops and crop tops that I showed you earlier. And honestly, I can't see, like this and those pants are like, I have multiples of them. And I will continue to make more multiples because like they're such a great basic. And you can just have fun with the little colors and stuff. And this will be good for like, if you want some nice like comfy tees that you like do like prints or designs or use like the Cricut for. Like this is a good base in my opinion. So one of the last things I have to show you is this shirt right here. Now I have made my husband, I made him one like, I want to say like 5 or 6 years ago, and he wanted some more, so I made him more of these. So I have this like Nightmare Before Christmas one. I have a few other like Star Wars themed ones, and he loves them. Those are his like favorite shirts to wear, and I have made him so many of them. But last year I also ended up taking just like the pattern piece for the collar and just made one for our dog. So now he can actually match the dog. I've only made one of them, so I still have plenty of the different fabrics so that I can make more of those for him. Oh my God, I can't believe I almost forgot about this. So this is the cardigan that I made in my last video. I finished this last year. I forgot about this. I can't believe. So this was a pattern that I was trying for the first time. It was something that I had in my stash for a while, and I finally got to do it. I did make a couple of modifications, but there are a few more that I would prefer to make this even better. But I love this thing. I wear it all the time. I think I might even go back and make a couple more modifications just to this specific piece, so that it fits me a little bit better. I did have a little issue with the amount of stride I can have while having it buttoned up. And I think that's the only thing I want to change, and just add like a little godet or something like that just to make it a little more flowy. But otherwise, this is like a really good basic. I like the fabric that I chose for it. The only thing is that it does crack, but I do like the design, and I will continue to wear it until it like completely flakes off, honestly. The design is just really fun, and I think it's starting to fit more with the style I'm starting to create for myself. But that is the last item that I have for you guys, and I hope you guys enjoy this. Yeah. So another thing, I almost forgot. This dress right here. I saw a dress online, found it on Pinterest, and then kind of created my own version of it. It didn't come out exactly the way I thought it would, but it's still pretty cute. I have not worn it yet because when I made it, it was like towards the end of like spring, so has not been worn yet, but it's really cute, and I thoroughly enjoyed the process of making this design. It is also reversible, like I can wear it from the back side or the front side. But yeah, so that's another thing that I made. I feel like this is all over the place. I did not plan this out well enough, but I hope you guys enjoyed just seeing all the things I made and me kind of remembering like, oh yeah, I made that. Oh yeah, I made that. But yeah, I've been having fun this past year making new things for myself and just kind of finding my style a little more. And I hope you guys join me for this year and all the things I get to make this year. So that is everything that I have made this year. And looking back on it, it's kind of surprising. There are a couple of other things that I made, but I don't have like versions of them to show you guys because I gave them as gifts. I did make a couple of infinity scarves for Christmas for a couple of my friends. And then I have some like bandana things that I have done a short for, but I haven't done a video for because it's such a quick little thing that honestly, there's no need for a video. But it's kind of like a little bandana. It's like a tube and you just slide it on and it helps keep your hair out of your face. It's really good for like if you were like working in the garden or something like that, or honestly, even for sleeping. I've used it quite a few times just to go to sleep. And those were the only things that I don't have to show you, but we're going to get my grand total right here of all the things I made last year. And hopefully we can make nearly as many things this year, but I want to try to focus a little more on accent pieces, not necessarily the basics, even though I probably will still have to make some basic pieces because I just don't feel like I have quite enough. And then I also have to get rid of all the stuff that I can't fit anymore. I still have so much of that stuff. It's just collecting up space in my closet, and I need to just, you know, get my get my shit together and just put it up or get rid of it. I'm not sure what I want to do with it. Either I'm going to just give it to like Goodwill or something like that, or I was thinking about doing ThredUp. The only thing about doing ThredUp is I don't typically shop there, so it doesn't really make as much sense for me to do that. So I probably should just drop it off at the Goodwill and just call it a day. Make it easy for myself, and that way I can just have it out of my space and then focus on the things that I need to make for my closet and not have all this extra stuff that I can't wear. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope you guys enjoyed all the things that I made. And I look forward to this year and seeing all the things that I make this year. All right.